Onivia, League of Legends highlights, powered by ArcaneBet.com. Bet live on esports.
So the focus here is super high on both sides. Previous series, they're happy to lock in Xayah as a power pick, but still, something has to be left open.
Yeah, it's going to be Faker's Azir as well. He's been spamming it in solo queue over the last week, I believe 22 games or something like that. We know Faker's Azir is fantastic, but his eye is certainly going to be in making these Sandy Shuffle plays.
You'd imagine Ryze would be the choice from Ian because he's been a pretty good Ryze player in recent memory. The results aren't going to be there in terms of numbers, but Ian's Ryze are definitely going to be a consideration. And it also allows him to keep on this good train.
Hang's feeling safe enough just to wander down the top lane.
Much damage over the wall, great terrain for the Vel'Koz to fight in. The threat of the Smite Steal is not gone as we watch this Feast available. Doesn't need it. MVP get it, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the delay around Baron. Same story around the Drake, although Baron is up and SKT are on the way.
Yeah, absolutely no vision available in there because the control
MVP
ward's on top of it.
understand this soon.
Yeah, well, they were pinging onto the Baron. I have a feeling that they know. Look at all of the pings. They're everywhere. ADD's got teleport available, but no mana. And yep, there's the Baron. It's just going to get taken. No opportunities for them to respond.
One great move by MVP, but then they give SKT too much respect, or maybe even not enough respect, because they don't put in the fact that they already had control vision over the Baron. The Varus, the Azir, and the Smite are all alive. SKT train onto the Baron. They trade up in a big way.
Just huge. Now Tali's going to be building towards what could be an Iceborne Gauntlet, or potentially, if he wants to go Ultra Respect, pick up a Frozen Heart, which could still work against the Cho'Gath in lane, theoretically, because he does like to get those auto attacks off.
Tal's role in teamfights is actually a little bit more complex than other Trundles, because Trundle's usually a split push. We don't actually talk about teamfight Trundle that much. He knows who he wants to contaminate. He knows he wants to ult onto the Cho'Gath. That part is simple. The first pillar is for catch. The second pillar might actually be needed to interrupt the Lifeform disintegration raid from the Vel'Koz, because the only other ranged interrupt they have is Blank getting in there with his face on the Zac. So they don't actually have a lot of ways to interrupt the Vel'Koz. This Vel'Koz doesn't have a lot of items, but he's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, unless Faker can get in amongst it. Of course, a good answer is just to Shurima Shuffle him. And that would also stop the disintegration raid from doing too much. Blank going to look for another tower dive as he jumps forward. We're not going to find too much, but there's the kidnap. They just explode Max as he's delivered to the backline. Effort even going to survive as the disintegration raid isn't enough. No, we've got so many limping away from Ian this game. And that's going to be SKT trading up, grabbing everything as the Innitar fell bot lane as well.
Yeah, rinse and repeat each time. It has been the initiation on MVP, a single catch, and then Ian almost taking someone out. Summoners have to be used each time. This time effort is other summons. Maybe he will fall down next time. But SKT still have that map control, and it's most felt when you look at the CS numbers here, because you see that Trundle's 40 ahead. That part makes sense. The Azir's ahead. The AD carry's ahead. Everyone's ahead. And there's minions that MVP just haven't gotten. They've died to turrets. We watch the replay. Vel'Koz gets to this pretty late. While he does a lot of damage on the back end, not enough to actually take down SKT. But if you start adding up the numbers, 40 in the top lane, 60 in the mid lane, it's already talking about 100, another 25. There's about 150 CS that MVP have just lost to turrets because SKT have controlled the map, denied access to minion waves as early as level 1 when the Trundle was proxying the Cho'Gath from even hitting the first minion wave. And that is a big reason that they find themselves 9,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, and also just can't be in the other minion waves because They have to be answering the pressure that SKT is putting on. Man advantage is here. I mean, Bang's feeling safe enough just to wander down the top lane towards the inner turret, and there's nothing that MVP can do. Effort playing super far up, keeping his AD carry completely safe as he obliterates this tower in seconds.
Ended up being the Liandry's first from the Vel'Koz. No Void Staff yet. The Void Staff's going to be delayed as looking onto Faker. He gets away.
Yeah, gets slowed, but not going to worry about the ult actually hitting here. Some geometry being done by Ian, but not going to be effective as Tal. He is going for the Frozen Heart, but you can see he doesn't need any help doing enough damage to ADD.
There's no way for ADD to take him down. Too easy, too much lifesteal as the minions die with the King's Tribute.
Yep. And there's even more damage being done. The solo lane is just soloing down the bot lane and the mid lane respectively. And you've got the bottom lane just hanging out here. Blank could be anywhere on the map because MVP's vision is almost non-existent. SKT, this is suffocation. This is the SKT we've grown used to over so many years. Well, revisited here in 2018, finally.
They couldn't have RSVP'd any later, but they are looking like a team that could do work in the playoffs as of their last series against KSV and now against MVP. The severe map control. They have literally strangled the life out of MVP in this game. You can tell in terms of the CS numbers especially. They walk up, they're ready to load up. And so far, they got no answer for the Trundle. And in the 4v4, MVP are watching their structures fall as well.
Yep. There's absolutely nothing that they can do about Tal if there's pressure anywhere else on the map. And knowing SKT, there's, in fact, pressure everywhere. Faker's hanging out in mid, can always just shifting sands his way out, and is just going to spend the extra time and take down the inhibitor turret. So much gold. 13,000 is going to be almost exactly that margin. 2 kills and an Infernal Drake is all MVP can say for what they have achieved this game. No turrets to 8. SKT, it's getting close to a shellacking here, Papa Smithy.
And a Baron buff power play they can be proud of. No Banon required to make this one happen. Just great map control. The Trundle doing his job after avoiding that gank in the early game. Allowed him to hit his items on time. They roll through. The Trundle's unkillable. And we just feel like SKT is playing with their food a little bit and looking to close it out pre-35 minutes.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be Faker going back. He decides to give up on grabbing his Rabadons, just gets a Void Staff outright instead, because he feels like he needs a little bit of that magic penetration. Bilgewater Cutlass means that Bang is going to be heading towards Blade of the Ruin King as item number 4. Pretty standard stuff, but Rapid Fire Cannon was picked up, so not going for any of these mana plays or anything like that, wanting to make sure that he's as safe as possible, respecting Beyond's potential ultimates that can come in, doesn't want to waste the QSS too early in a fight.
Good for Siege as well.
Exactly.
Extra auto onto a turret can't be denied. So just a flexible option. Not going to be in Hurricane range in this game, so no need to rush that. He's going for the cost-effective purchase, the most power he can buy at the time. MVP, everything onto Ian, but sadly, a 13,000 gold disadvantage, and 2 true tanks means that I don't think that the science is going to be enough for the Vel'Koz to bring this game back.
Yeah, not going to be able to geometry his way out of this one. Faker's just setting up some friends on the top side of the map. He's like, look, the whole team's here. Don't worry about it. The shifting sands gets him out of the way. Not a lot of options that Beyond has as SKT are just infecting the base of MVP. Wherever they move, it's going to be the rest of SKT like liquid around them trying to get the work done. But look, this could be the pick onto Effort. No, he's going to flash out of the way. Oh, Ian just feels so robbed. His tile's going to get missed by the Q from Ian as well. Chains of Corruption looking for some extra stuns as Faker wants to find some damage. Okay, good pillar comes down as well as Redemption is going to be there to try and get the heals out for MVP. Faker gets out of the way as a teleport going to be invested.
Evan's going to come back. They're trying to close the game. Great interrupt by Tal.
Yep.
Stop that disintegration, taking down his teammate. Only one Nexus turret left for MVP.
Yeah, they're just going to siege it down. Bang is going to get knocked up by the Rupture, but not going to quite find the Tornado as Bang has to be a little bit careful, but has the heal to keep himself alive. Nexus Turret 2 goes down, and MVP, they're looking to go back to the fountain. They want to turn this one on to game number 2 because SKT was a slaughter in game number 1.
Just great execution, and this whole season we have not seen plays like we've seen from SKT in the previous series and this series. A 13,000 gold disadvantage, and 2 true tanks means that I don't think that the science is going to be enough for the Vel'Koz to bring this game back.
Yeah, not going to be able to geometry his way out of this one. Faker's just setting up some friends on the top side of the map. He's like, look, the whole team's here. Don't worry about it. The Shifting Sands gets him out of the way. Not a lot of options that Beyond has, as SKT are just infecting the base of MVP. Wherever they move, it's going to be the rest of SKT like Liquid around them trying to get the work done. But look, this could be the pick onto Effort. No, he's going to flash out of the way. Oh, Ian, it just feels so...
Results they may still not go through. If we do see a result where Kingzone is upset by KSV and we see Rox Tigers beat Jin Air, then SKT, it doesn't matter how they do, they're out after what has been one of their worst seasons. But that's unlikely given Kingzone's domination. So all SKT can do is pile on victories. Let's see what MVP do about the Zac problem, because they are continuing to ban away Bang.
Yep. So SKT can be saved by either Kingzone or by Jin Air, is what you're saying. Very interesting. But the Olaf finally going to be banned, and it's on the blue side, which is interesting. Beyond hasn't necessarily been moving towards it as often as other junglers. In fact, never on his side.
And now you feel like if MVP first pick Zac, SKT takes Sejuani, and if it's vice versa, SKT is even happier. So when it comes to junglers, seems like Blank might be playing a fourth game of Zac, unless MVP really will first pick it away.
Well, Skarner still available as well and still seen as high priority, but ADD is going to pick up his Gangplank, one of his silent achievers towards the top side of the map. Hasn't been doing too badly. MVP have lost the majority of their games. He's still on a 40% win rate over 10 games, which ain't bad.
And he's played it really well.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, it's not a champion that takes over lane. It's about playing the map with the ultimate until the late game. They never got to late game in game one. And if we see a Galio, which is already locked in, and a mid-game comp from SKT, the power pick might not actually have much value, given they're going to be against some Wombo friends.
Oh yeah, the classic Wombo duo in the Galio and the Zac. We are set up for some fun bouncy times here, Papa Smithy.
No Zac ban, so no surprise. 4 games in a row on the Zac. Hard to say if Blank's back or if Blank's Zac is back, because he has been able to play this champion each time. MVP could look at some more proactive champions. Skarner does have a lot of options, but usually when we see this matchup, it's all about baiting away the Impale and using the Zac ultimate at the split frame to put that ultimate on cooldown and then still be a Zac with Elastic Slingshot to keep team fighting.
Yeah, we almost see this as the opposite pick. It's the Zac into the Skarner a lot of the times in a pinch for a lot of other teams because of that interaction you're talking about.
Now, Corki versus Galio was always a matchup. It's even better now that Galio's mana costs are a bit out of whack. They are very, very high.
Cooldown on Winds of War as well, meaning that he has to stick around a little bit longer to get those backline minions.
It's costlier and also available less, so that means pretty sad times as they're going to look to answer the Gangplank in the first round. Would you love some magic damage, MVP? Because 3 helpings are there. I don't know if that's the serving size that MVP can deal with, and the Vladimir is locked in. And that means the Diet goes very high on magic damage, also very high on Wombo.
Yeah. In fact, Antara hasn't played it, but the Vladimir has been picked up 3 times by Tal.
He's playing a lot of it in solo queue as well, so he's got his eye in. You can go for Ignite, and you do see Ignite already for Tal, as you can go Ignite, Unsealed Spellbook, and turn into the Teleport later.
Yeah, means that it's going to be oppressive for ADD, who's just going to want to try and weather the storm in the early levels.
I mean, you kind of are already in full weathering mode on the side of MVP, but that might end up aging their chances to make it out of the relegations, because things are looking like they're going to be very spicy from SKT.
Yeah.
Are we going to be piling on with more initiation? And Alistar wouldn't go amiss on the side of SKT, but they don't want to give MVP any Alistars either.
No, they're going to just take it away themselves. Of course, Xayah is banned, but Rakan is available. They want some extra knock-up availability from the support position.
Effort did play Xayah Rakan with Bang, but Rakan as a power pick has so far been limited to teams like Tucson from Afrika and also BBQ Ignar.
Yeah. Well, final ban is going to be the Thresh. We've stuck into the support role here as far as getting things away from both MVP and SKT, but what is Effort going to play, or what are we going to see in the AD carry position? It looks like Bang is going to hop over to the Caitlyn potentially.
And
Caitlyn, a few other options.
Caitlyn to me would represent a takeaway pick from Pilot rather than a power pick for SKT. They haven't been able to use Caitlyn very well in spring season. Sorry, you remember that he was actually very late to debut Caitlyn.
Yeah.
He looked fantastic on Caitlyn a couple of series ago against BBQ. I was actually expecting the shoe to be on the other foot. I thought it would be Ezreal, as everyone else from SKT is going on the dive. But they don't want to give up lane control in the 2v2, so they take a block of Caitlyn to ensure that they have 3 lanes that can have a lot of options when it comes to pressure.
Well, this would be an interesting one. Pilot, of course, debuted with some great games on Tristana very early in his career on MVP this season, but it is going to be the Ezreal once again. That Tristana lane into Caitlyn is very painful, so not going to opt into it, and it's going to be Ezreal once more.
But you're really worried about MVP Atlas because SKT get the support counter pick after all of this. They have the Vladimir into GP, and while Galio's at his kind of worst time against Corki, still going to be pretty comfortable, all things considered. So because they take the blocker Caitlyn, they also get the support counter pick. There's going to be one person who's not going to be knocked up, but everyone else going straight up in the air, Atlas.
Yeah. This is a fun lane, though. We actually saw the opposite situation with the Morgana and the Caitlyn into the Ezreal not work out so well.
I wonder what was
having the Black Shield for the Zac is good.
My first thought was Lulu, actually, from the support role for even more knockups, but the Karma would be similar.
Oh, wow.
I think they're going range support. I said they want a counter pick on the red side. It's going to be a support Karma coming through. I guess it's an outside chance of a Galio support, but let's be real. It's going to be a Galio mid lane. And SKT are being very serious about lane control. They took a blocker Caitlyn to force Pilot into Ezreal, and they counter top lane against the Gangplank, who can't go for Bandit for those early gold generations that the GP is known for. Not a lot of looked and results go their way.
Yep, they're looking better and better, and as long as they're taking it one game at a time. In the Dark Binding, come up trumps in the early game.
The Party Bush gets the cut. Caitlyn goes down and bangs like, damn it.
First blood on the Corki. Yeah, we got a level 1 as Ian is.
That's only in the LCK, unfortunately. Yes. Oh, we got to
talk
about this.
We got a level 1 as Ian is going to come in there, pick up the first blood on the Corki.
Party Bush, Caitlyn invited. Caitlyn goes down and bangs like, damn it. That could have happened. Didn't
Second
put it
time
in there.
today that we've seen the Dark Binding come up trumps in the early game.
The Party Bush gets the Kull Corki, the first blood. That means it's going to be a long sword as well. I'm sure Faker's going to be irritated now that the laning phase is already worse for the Galio in the Corki matchup. The man that got the MVP in Game 1 going to be feeling a bit sheepish coming to lane. He does have a flash, no heal. And he does know that Faker has an even harder assignment in a lane that's pretty one-sided to Corki in the early game.
Yeah, glad that Bang was able to hold on to that flash for what they want to do in the early game as well on that bottom side. We've got a very early visit to lane here, as it's going to be a solo start for the Skarner on the red buff. Not often something you see.
MVP in the brush, unbeknownst to effort.
Yeah, another Dark Binding comes in. He's already solo, has to use the flash. There's no heal to keep him alive as Mystic Shot is blocked by Bang. Good Peacemaker gets a lot of damage over on both.
And we're definitely going to see a meta change, Atlas, because if you think back to Worlds, it was all about who could get to the front bush to stop there being a cheese gank or to stop there being a Scion in the front bush or things like that. Now we're seeing it happen again as people are face checking and getting punished at level 1.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, the Dark Binding doesn't hit for a second time. That Ian is going to have a great time on the Corki after getting the first blood on top of everything else as well.
All Faker can do is pushing back. He's going to fall low in lane quite frequently. Take longer to get going as it's going to be a Predator lane gank.
Yeah, Black Shield actually comes out. Max is going to land it as Effort is going to be the target. Beyond wants to get there, is going to get an assist. And that's 2-0 in kills for MVP very early on, 4 minutes into the game.
I mean, Max has been this master of the range support for a long time. He loved the gimmicky brand in the back in the day, making it work on the Morgana as well. That time the flash required to get a second kill. And MVP, they're not going down without a fight.
Yep. And if they win this game, remember, guys, game score is still a really big thing for SKT. Gets harder and harder as this goes on, because if they're behind in game score, the head-to-heads that they have don't mean anything.
There's a simple equation as well. If they lose this match, MVP are in relegation, so they have a lot to fight for as well. High stakes on both sides. No one wants to have to go down and have a couple of best-of-3s potentially put you into Challenger's career. So obviously no one is going to roll over in this particular series. Hongnu Monster, they were already doomed.
almost dies, but he is going to be fine. His Gromp probably going to be the last casualty of the jungle before he goes back. Tries to get towards that Barmy Cinder for his Cinder Hulk.
So hard for me to see how MVP wins this game, because they do have very good scaling from the mid lane. We know all about the item breakpoints for the Corki, as Faker's going to go get some mana from the Honey Fruit. Their backline is so squishy, and their front line is a Skarner and nobody else. So face checking is going to be very difficult for them to do as the game progresses. The Vladimir hits 5 items, and he just flashes in the backline and gets basically everyone chunked out on his own. So teamfight's going to be tricky. Now, the early lane ganks have been good. If they can play a very early game focused game and navigate away from the hero's entrance, there are chances for MVP. But the SKT comp is sort of comp that through the patches in 2018 has been highly prized.
Yep, very, very good. Tal also going for a little bit more of an early game focused build. Has the Proto Belt coming in. Very good early stats on that one. So he wants to be fighting early. Keeping up, though, his ADD. We actually complimented him on his GP. He's doing okay, Max. Okay, just Black Shield. He's going to be fine. Effort not going to be able to find the Inner Flame as that Q damage is concerned, but SKT probably happy just to play this one out. Max is landing some pretty killer Dark Bindings, but that Peacemaker, that did a lot more work to pilot.
Yeah, definitely a net negative trade if you swap Q for Q with Caitlyn and Ezreal, and there's no minions to halt the damage of the Piltover Peacemaker. Very, very similar ranges between ADD's Q and Tal's Q, so that's why there's going to be plenty of harass coming through from ADD.
SKT are continuing to get pressured out here. Max just standing in the brush, gaining the control of the vision is really a problem. SKT have to respect Dark Bindings just hitting time after time.
And the question is why, right? Because we said Karma and Caitlyn take them in the 2v2. Why are they respecting? Notice where Blank was. He was clearing his Raptors. They have no information on where Skarner is on the map, and their jungle was topside. So walking up and trying to take a positive trade could have just been an outnumbered gank. So it's a smart time for Karma to be respectful to stop a kill coming through.
Well, Beyond looking to grab a Crystal Spire, and now Blank, not a lot of opportunities to fight the Skarner in his own territory, as it were. This blue buff just stolen away under the noses of SKT. You mentioned the fact that you don't see a lot of opportunities for MVP to win that game, and I think that maybe it needs a little bit of explanation as to why we're seeing an MVP that's playing very far forward at this particular point in time. I believe what you're doing is talking about after a certain part of the game has been hit, then SKT should be able to take control, right?
A lot of the power here for MVP in the early game is around skirmishing. I think they have a lot of chances to get a Skarner ultimate and trade up. They got good control in the mid lane, as Ian will be able to push in roam even better than Corki could previously of the just in the late game. The problem is the wombo and backline access of Vlad, Galio, and Zac does seem like it'll overwhelm MVP. But in the side lane, GP gets some items. Maybe you can set up a 4-1. But since Vladimir traditionally wins the lane, you start putting it all together and saying, win conditions pretty narrow here for MVP. But 2 kills, potentially to just win lane, win game. That's still there, even if unlikely.
Yeah, and Ian's going for the most snowball build as he can possibly go for with the Sork boots very, very early. Has the Sheen now built up, another 10 creeps, and his Cull will be stacked. It's a good option here for the Corki, who wants to try and get to that Trinity Force as early as possible.
The mid-game dream from MVP is to get out of lane with good gold, with some kills. Ezreal and Corki go mid lane and start auto-attacking a turret. SKT do have Wombo engage, but if you disengage
has taken control of this lane. No notable item pickups have actually come in here for the Vladimir, just getting himself to a good position. Sanguine Bull just to avoid some turret shots. Takes 20% of his health bar, though, to even use it. Baker going to be going back home. Rod of Ages at a pretty decent clip here, 11 minutes into the game.
It's going to be control. It's actually going to be the Iceborne Gauntlet coming through from Pilot. Still going to be an even cheaper 2-item spike. They know they're on a timer here. As here's the all-in.
Flash comes out very, very quickly from Bang, but the Impale is all too easy. He burns down, and that's going to be the kill delivered over to Pilot. Rift Herald to follow up immediately from MVP, and the aggression is just not stopping from this team. The desperation, they don't want to be going down to the promotion tournament, and they're not giving up without a fight at all.
It doesn't matter how SKT does.
Yeah, it certainly is a little bit poetic because half health and Duck
turned against SKT a couple of Armstrong coming through. left of center meta pick that's big in other regions. Only this week he's coming out in Korea. So far, so good on the Morgana. The Ezreal going to hit 2 items very soon. And even though Tal's having a happy landing phase, even though Galio's done better than expected up in CS against the Corki, it's been an isolated bot lane where all the benefit has been gotten from MVP.
Yeah, and you keep a Caitlyn behind. What have we spoken about? I mean, Ruler's last outing on the champion, you call her a tank Caitlyn. Just basically didn't do anything. If a Caitlyn's behind, she's probably one of the biggest potatoes in the game.
Well, I mean, he had a first item QSS and a pickaxe, so he was having a real bad time.
Yeah. But that's probably going to be what Bang has to do if Beyond's going to stay down on the bottom side of the map. It was the same situation.
Now, you have one extra flexibility in this particular comp because you have so much knock-up and CC. You could go Infinity Edge first and just try to get crits and play on the RNG game as they're trying for the dive.
Yep, the all-in is going to come down. Hemoplay gets Tal his health back, but Faker can't find the opportunity. Good flash, but it's not quite far enough as ADD should be taken down. SKT wanted to get their first kill. Oh my god, ADD almost trades one back onto Tal.
There was no safety there for ADD. He tried to flash away, but flashed straight into the Stretch Armstrong coming through from Blank. He goes down. There's a roam coming through from Bang and Effort, who packed up lane after losing turret and just came to the mid lane to support. The kill does go the way of SKT, but not really the way you want to use those ultimates, is getting a single kill. They won't get the turret because Ezreal's already top.
Yeah, Effort is able to move out of the way as Beyond easily tanks up the ace in the hole with his crystalline exoskeleton shield. First turret blood has equaled about a 3,000 gold lead in favor of MVP, but they've got triple Sheen item spikes, theoretically, as the Gangplank is about to pick up his Trinity Force. Good damage coming down at Effort, but unable to actually solidify any kills or anything like that. Still so much pressure, and Max just deserves so many props for this Morgana play. Setting up the first blood, setting up kills on the bottom side of the map. This is their point of power, and they've stuck with it for the whole game.
Yeah, the counterpick of the Karma has been turned against SKT a couple of times just because the bindings and the lane control from the Morgana has taken over SKT. One summoner down. Bang has not been a great Caitlyn so far this season. They've struggled on the pick, and sadly seems like an extension of that for SKT. Game far from decided.
Yeah. Still, bit of health on this turret, meaning that Bang able to pick up some of these minions, but the pressure from Pilot should mean that he'll be able to get a few extra each wave. Now Faker getting slowed down to high heaven, gets himself a taunt, but Beyond just wants to get in there with the Impale. He doesn't care about a turret. In goes Blank though. Can they turn this one around? Justice Punch is going to come down as Blank just brings a special delivery under the turret. Minions still there though, so MVP not going to lose too much. Hemoplay coming down once again.
Ignite is back.
Yeah, misses a lot of the damage, but it doesn't matter. The Ignite's ticking down. Hemoplay grabs a solo kill for Tal under the turret. And can the MVP of Game 1 save them in Game 2?
And I gotta admit, always love a man that gets rid of the teleport and gets the Ignite back. You realize he needs to take down the Gangplank in the side lane. He doesn't need to be teleporting to fights. His friends will do that. They get a solo turret, as you mentioned, but MVP inching forward slowly onto this outer turret top.
Well, Blank charging the Elastic Slingshot. He's got half health. Black Shield is going to be there, but he's going to pull Max in. Soul Shackle's not going to do anything. No stuns until the second tick, and they're not going to get there. Too much damage.
Yeah, Zach's really good against the Morgana because you put the first Q on, you wait out the 5-second duration, you auto a minion, and he's going to be CC'd. So able to just problem solve through the situation against the Morgana because you...
And they're not going to... There, but he's going to pull Max in. Soul Shackle's not going to... Black Shield is going to be there, but he's going to pull Max in. Soul Shackle's not going to do anything. No stuns until the second tick, and they're not going to get there. Too much damage.
Yeah, Zach's really good against the Morgana because you put the first Q on, you wait out the 5-second duration, you auto a minion, and he's going to be CC'd. So able to just problem solve through the situation, take him down. Stops the turret from going down as SKT get bot lane turret. They start to arrest the gold lead that MVP was starting to open up.
Yeah, the other thing we actually forgot to mention is ADD isn't playing Kleptomancy.
No.
He's actually going towards the Grasp. I don't know whether you mentioned it earlier. I might have been dozing off. I don't really know.
It's the second time we've seen the Resolve trees. Well, watch this first.
Yep, Cannon Barrage is going to come down as MVP really going for this.
No flash on Faker.
2.5 V1 as Faker is just going to heroically exit the mid lane. and he's going to say goodbye. Go back home.
No CC to speak of, so very easy to get away. Resolve Tree is what you take if you don't want to die in the 1v1 as Gangplank, or at least you want the most options to not die. Sadly, the Ignite was too strong for him. The free farm Vladimir able to take him down. A 55 CS lead that's actually bigger than it appears, because like you mentioned, the gold generation isn't bonkers like it usually is for GP.
Yeah, you'd expect ADD to have that Trinity Force already, so I apologize for not noticing that one earlier on in this match.
Had gone for the Spectre's Cowl to delay it as well.
Yeah, precisely.
Not really many people can lane against a Vladimir, and 80 carries are usually free food for the Vlad.
Well, he's lying in wait.
Ian definitely expects him to be here.
Yeah. Lord Vladimir comes down. That's a lot of damage out.
He's going for the all-in.
Yeah, he is. He's looking for it. Hemoplague is there. Flash has to be expended. Not quite enough. As Beyond looking to try and punish.
I don't know if he can.
Sanguine Pool is pretty damn good, and Beyond actually doesn't get the cooldown, even though he went for the Impale. Now on the bottom side of the map, ADD, he's in trouble. Winds of War down, and he loses the movement speed from popping that barrel. Blank just following him up, and he's got so many CC options. Colossal Smash comes down as ADD. He's doing his best Khan impression of the great top lane escape, but he's going to get just as punched in the face and taken off the map.
Early review for the Resolve Tree GP. He dies really slowly, but he does still die, and the gold generation delay means Trinity Force only now is complete. He's been laning with no boots, so it's very easy to be chased down by the Elastic Slingshot.
Stream ko. Yan ba speaker? Stream ko. Kasi naday. What? Agi pa akong uso eh. Ludi. Ay siko ang lagot. Pagong. Apa tahu dah kuan. Ipot naman mo itaw balik. Ha? 133 minus 80. Ay sige kon ko ano. Ako tawag kamay daw. Sus kita ko dito. Two flex zone. No flex zone. Okay, ata. Ha? Wala oy. Ano na 11 si ko ano? Si Dundun ba? Oh, hindi naging Ari lang ka, Bong. Bong, 5 lang ka, Bong. Wala lagi.
To the beat. Circles. Click. Circles. Click.
It's almost time.
Circle.
over.